going to do a little email coach session or consultation session. I don't know. Apparently, coaching is a bad word to some people nowadays. I don't really give a crap. I don't know if I'm going to stop using the word or not yet. I haven't decided. But either way, give a little consultation here. So I'm going to read the issue. Okay, I'll read what was sent and we'll go through it. So before I get started, though, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and get on my email list at the end of the video. It links in the description. We're going to talk about things we can't talk about on YouTube because of the censors. All right, and they have free content reports. So, all right. So, gentleman writes to me. The ex-girlfriend has essentially plated herself with me. She knows we're no longer exclusive, but she keeps coming over, wants to go out. Not sure how I feel about it. I really like hanging out with her about half the amount of time she likes hanging out with me. I care for her immensely, but I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of her. Thoughts? One thing I haven't done is been honest enough with her to share about what has been annoying me about her. I just haven't had the balls to do it. I don't know. Maybe it would change things. All right. So what we have here is a guy was seeing somebody exclusively, decided to break up, right? So it's no longer exclusive, no longer a relationship, really. And she's decided that she wants to continue to see him despite the fact that they're not exclusive, and she knows it. All right, well, this does go back to the idea that women would rather share a high-value man or an alpha than, be committed to someone that they don't see as high value or what we could call a beta. So in this case, this gentleman is a contextual alpha in this relationship, and for her, she obviously sees it as an advantage for her to see him, even if she knows he's not exclusive with her. She probably has hopes that it could be something more. Well, my thoughts on that are really, as long as you're being honest about where you're at, and you're not lying to her and pretending that you're exclusive when you're not, and presenting things that aren't true to keep her around, that's her decision, and that's on her. I mean, you lead, women fall into your frame if you're doing the right thing, but they're their own human beings and they make their own choices. All right, so you need to allow her to make her own decision. If she has decided that being with you is better, okay, more of an advantage than not being with you, and you enjoy seeing her, that's fine. Go ahead and allow that to happen. Now, here's the thing, though. If she starts bringing drama into your life because she wants something more and you're not willing to do that, that's when you would be faced with a decision to say, we can't do this. And it's just because she can't handle the nature of that relationship, which is a non-exclusive relationship, right? So she's free to date other people, and you're free to date other people. She's choosing to be with you, commit herself with you. That's going to be short-lived, probably, okay? So if she wants the commitment, even if you are the contextual alpha, she's still having her eyes open. And maybe not today, but it will be tomorrow. She'll have her eyes open for your replacement. And if she finds somebody that she thinks is a suitable replacement, even if it's somebody that she's not as excited about, but will give her the commitment, she may make that choice. So you have to understand that might happen. If she loses hope and thinks that she can't have you in the type of relationship she wants, then she may leave you to go do that. But for now, this is her decision. And so I say let her make her own decisions, as long as they're informed decisions, meaning that you're not bullshitting her. You know what I mean? Now, the other piece of this, too, is, so you mentioned you want listing her faults, okay? I don't recommend that. All right, it's not up to you to be her trainer, teacher, counselor, self development coach, none of that stuff. If you're her man, whether it's on an exclusive or non exclusive basis, um, then that's the nature of that relationship isn't where you're her mentor. Now, there's going to be different ideas about this, but trust me when I say you don't want to put yourself in that position with someone that you're in a sexual exchange with or sexual relationship with. It's up to her to handle her problems are her problems, her self-development is hers. She'll develop herself based on her motivation to be in your frame and be with you. That's part of what being in a relationship is. And in fact, whether it's exclusive or not exclusive, and in fact, you'll develop and improve yourself as you're with her or other women. You'll learn more about that's the whole point, right? You're learning about yourself, the other person. You're always kind of leveling up, and you're making improvements on on everything, your communication style, on your goals, on your faults, overcoming things. I mean, that's the benefit of being in some, let's say, relationship. Again, could be just dating or plate spinning, but being with women, some of the benefits are you can expose weaknesses you have, you can expose shortcomings you have, and you work on your own. But is it her? It's not her responsibility though for you to take to lead you, of course, into making those improvements. But you come across things through the course of being with somebody, and you decide, well, you know what, I don't like this about myself, or I want to fix this or change that or whatever, and you work on it. And that's up to her. She'll do the same thing in her own way. Women don't quite do that the way that men do, and many women don't do that at all, and that's unfortunate. But in her own way, if she wants to be in your frame and she wants to, she'll choose. A woman will often choose to level herself up and make self improvements to fit a guy who is somebody she sees as higher level than she is, if that makes any sense. And so it's not your job. It's your job to lead through your actions and standards and boundaries, and that's not, but it's not your job to be her coach or counselor. And I think we've had this discussion before, you and I, and everyone needs to hear it, because that really is the losing proposition. I can't express that enough, because what ends up happening is you end up making her problems your problems, and then when they don't get solved because she doesn't do what she's supposed to solve her own problems, whose fault is it now? It ends up being your fault, you see. And you end up having this culpability or responsibility for her self-improvement. And that's, of course, BS. It's not that you never give advice or whatever if asked, but there's a difference between putting yourself in that role of mentoring and giving an opinion or setting frame or setting standards, and if you're going to be in the habit of like, well, let me list all the things that annoy you, that annoy me about you, what you're asking her to do, what that is telling her, I want you to be a different person. And so here's all the things. So now you have to be a different person, to be with me. Here's the thing though, man, attraction isn't a negotiation in any sense, and that includes if she just molds herself to be the person, the little Stepford wife that you want, I promise you're not going to be happy with that. It's just not going to work. You know what I mean? No different than I know it's different with guys and girls, but if I try to change myself to fit some girl's mold, that'll never work, right? I have to, if I make changes to myself, it's because I'm chasing excellence and I'm doing it for me. And even though a woman is in your frame and you're the leader of the relationship as the man, it does go the other way. Like if she is just changing herself because you said so, that motivation isn't coming from her wanting to be better, right? So it's kind of disingenuous. And it's just it'll never be enough. And you're putting yourself actually in a situation where you could be, without intending to be, an abusive partner, right? Because now you're you're telling her all the crap that's wrong with her that she needs to fix. Now, I don't mean, understand now, I don't mean like standards and boundaries though, right? I'm talking personality traits. I'm talking like things about her, like who she is. If she's not the right person because she has quirks that you don't like, then she's not the right person, right? And this is why you're not with her. And this is why you're dating other people, because she's probably not the right person. Okay? And that's fair. You can't change her to be the right person. Now, where you do want to express things, however, is standards and boundaries. So if she's crossing your boundaries or crossing standards that you have for being with somebody, like violating standards of behavior, how you should be treated, how she should show up when you guys are together, bringing drama or causing problems or arguments, those sorts of things, communication styles that create conflict, like these are things that you can, that I would say to express those, but I express those as much as I can through action rather than words, and let her fall into the frame, because women don't do well with explanations. We know that, right? Like you've been following a lot of content, a lot of stuff. I know you, and I know a lot of things. Okay, a lot of guys watching this video might not. So, but if you've been following stuff that I put out and other content creators put out on these topics, logical explanations don't resonate well with women. They have to have an emotional buy-in first. So giving her like these explanations for how she's violating a standard and why it's wrong, like that's the lowest form for a woman, and usually isn't a good way to approach it. So if she's violating boundaries or standards, it's best to show through actions that you're not satisfied with that, and to make qualitative, definitive statements rather than explanations, and to withdraw your attention and time based on her meeting standards or not meeting standards. It's behavioral and emotional communication versus let's have a discussion about what I want and you're doing this thing and you shouldn't do this thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, sometimes she'll push for discussions, and of course you can have open adult discussions and aren't arguments, but again, that's approached in a different way. It's not you just explaining. That's never good. So listing a woman's faults, it's just not usually productive. I wouldn't do it. If their personality traits and stuff like that, that's who she is, man. And you don't want somebody who's going to try to like change themselves for you, because it's artificial, it's disingenuous, and it probably won't even stick. Like once you become emotionally attached, let's pretend that it actually does work and you become a bit emotionally attached. Well, how are if her motivation was to get you and then she gets you, are those things that she's changed? Are those things really going to stick? Probably not. Change has to come from within. Haha, I know that sounds very cliche, but change has to be a thing that she's motivated to do for herself, not motivated to do to try to fit someone's picture perfect mold of a partner. You know what I mean? So it's just not going to be effective. So yeah, that's my opinion. I think you need to keep her as she chooses to be, which is a play. You are putting her in plate status. She's choosing to participate. She believes at her age, time, and where she's at in life that this is being with you on a temporary or part-time basis is better than not being with you at all. You don't need to make that decision for her. Let her make that decision for herself, and she eventually will. Like, she won't do this forever, most likely. Final thing, though, which is something I know about you, which other people that listening don't know because they don't know who you are and everything. But this is what other men need to hear too. Is I'm just gonna say, man, you still have hang-ups from past experiences with women that were bad. So how that shows up is like this: things that would resemble that commitment, or somebody seeing you as the alpha they want to be with, things that demonstrate emotional closeness and some level of permanence, not just a plate or not just someone you're seeing occasionally. That sends danger signals for you. That signals danger for you, because you went through a bunch of pain from previous relationships. And a lot of men do that. And what happens is, being close to a woman, emotionally close, these sorts of things, the trigger is you're not free yet to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not free and outcome independent yet to just be with a woman and be happy about it and allow yourself to have emotions for her, knowing that if it ends, it's going to be fine because you hold the frame and you're not going to get completely screwed by a woman because you understand women better now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in other words, try to give a good example. Like, I'm with an LTR, right? And I have a very healthy and good situation with my long-term relationship, and I freely allow myself to have emotions for her. I have no constraints whatsoever, because it's not that it's not that I have a blue pill fantasy about it. I know all the stuff, but, you know, I don't have, there's no threat to me, because I don't have hang-ups anymore, and I used to, but I don't have hang-ups anymore over past painful experiences with women. And so because I don't have those hang-ups, there's no signaling of danger for me to have that emotional closeness or to allow for that relationship to develop. And let me tell you, it's a really good thing. It's a wonderful thing, because I've been able to have a level of euphoria and ecstasy with this person that I cannot get just from banging broads and spinning plates. I can't. You can't. Okay, it's not possible, because it's a level of just, it's just a deep connection level of closeness you can have with somebody. And you know, there's science behind all that and how that works, but we don't need to dumb it down, or I don't know, we don't need to pick it apart that way for this video. It's just that, you know, it's an amazing experience I'm allowed to have because I don't have that those constraints. You know, and so you still have some of those constraints I sense when we have these conversations. And so that's something that needs to be worked on, man. Like, this is where EMDR therapy was helpful for me, getting rid of, because, I mean, what happens is you have a painful experience, and then anything that resembles what that painful experience was in your head, you're going to try to avoid it, fight it, or overcome it, all right? And it causes negative or maladaptive responses. So, for example, let's say you really were in love, or whatever you want to call it, with some chick, and then she screws you over, creates a painful experience, okay? And now you're with a chick, and you start to have emotions, or she has emotions for you that resemble that previous thing. Instead of being happy and comfortable with that, you're going to get cynical, you're going to pick her apart, you're going to start seeing faults and like start picking at her. You know what I'm saying? It's because it's you trying to run away from this experience, like this thing, because this represents pain and danger for you right now. Okay, and so as long as having, like, if you're after a relationship, I mean, hey, if guys want to just like spin girls and, you know, bang women, and that's cool, and then go about their business, fine. But guys who want a long-term partner, you know, something with a little bit more permanence, and of course I use that word loosely because we know permanence is not really a thing, right? There's no such thing as forever in this world, but yeah, just having that long-term relationship, having that commitment, there's benefits to having that, which is, I need to talk about that in another video. In fact, a guy, another subscriber asked about that. But there's tons of benefits, and the benefit is like I have a much more of a euphoric experience when I am connected with somebody on that level. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the level of experience you can have with somebody when you're in a commitment, and it's not a BS commitment, okay? It's not where just like you're really just able to develop on such a deeper level and have such a different level of connection, neurochemically and, you know, behaviorally and mentally. And so it's an awesome thing to have, right? But if you want to experience that, you can't have hang-ups, you know, from previous things. That's going to get in the way. You know, you're going to find reasons to get out of it. You're going to find reasons to not do it. And maybe this girl isn't the right girl, but right now you don't actually know that. And the reason you don't know that is because you have things weighing you down. That's my assessment. That's what I think. That's where, for me, EMDR helped me. And then doing some, I did mostly the self-hypnosis, but doing some hypnotherapy, a little bit of NLP stuff too, can help put you in a different frame. But even NLP and hypnotherapy to me is going to be a long road. Conventional therapy will be a long road if you don't reprocess some of those painful experiences so that they're not holding you back and weighing you down. That's what EMDR does, and I'll explain that probably thoroughly in another video. But what it does is it reprocesses those memories, so the like in this case, being with a woman in a relationship, that those connotations won't signal danger signals for you. And that makes sense. The things that are dangerous should signal danger signals. All right, being in a commitment with a woman is not necessarily dangerous if you know how to handle women. Okay, and you know this because you know how to handle women. You're like an expert. You're like a champion when it comes to plate spinning, anyway. So I see you as so good at what you do. Because we've been talking for a long time and working together for a long time. I see you as so good at what you do with women in terms of getting them to want you, to be attracted to you, and to hold that arousal and hold that desire. You're very good at that, at least from what I can tell. But it seems that you have a hard time being happy with them. All these got a lot of beautiful women that have come in and out of your life in the last couple of years, and it seems like you're just not able to be happy with them. So that tells me there is a thing holding you back. That's the bigger issue, man, other than this chick, your ex. Like, your ex is she the person or is she not the person? It kind of doesn't matter in a sense. What matters is that you get rid of these things that are holding you back. Because if you get rid of these things holding you back, okay, now you can clearly tell and see whether she is that fit or not. But if you're going to be repelled from anything that resembles, a healthy relationship because that represents danger to you, because relationships before caused you pain, it's not going to work. Does that make sense? And the guys listening, does that make sense? Okay, that nihilistic behavior. I do a show, like I do Rich Cooper's show, and I see all these nihilistic comments. I pop over to Rule Zero guys and listen to some of their stuff and throw a few super chats down to support, and I see the nihilism, in the forums, all the crap that, it's just never going to work out. Things are terrible. Man, it's not terrible. I'm telling you, it's not terrible. This knowledge is powerful stuff. Red pill knowledge, the things that I suggest you read and do, my channel, things I'm telling you to do and advising you on. This is powerful stuff that is supposed to help you do better, not just, take the black pill and assume that you're never going to have happiness and get rid of the fantasy of ever being happy with women. Like, come on, it's crazy. That's crazy talk. I know, because I'm very happy with women, multiple women, okay, in my life. I have an LTR and I have women in my life, and I'm very happy with it. Yes, thank you. I'm very happy with how it's going. So I'm not, and so many guys I've worked with have gotten to that place too. And you listening can get to that place too, not just the person who wrote this email coach, but yeah, all you guys listening, you can get to a better place, man. I'm telling you, you can. All right, I'm not trying to fill you with hopes and dreams and BS. It's going to take work, but you can do it. When you understand female nature, when you understand the chick that you're with, if you're in a relationship, and her quirks, how she varies, how her individuality, from not just the nature of women, but who she is as a person, and how to handle that, how to maintain frame and all that stuff. I mean, it can be great. And a lot of these guys who, are content creators are having great experiences with women all the time. It's not these people who can't make it work. So that's it. I mean, if you don't think you can make it work, you got hang-ups, you've probably been burned in the past. And if you've been burned in the past, anything that resembles a good experience with women is going to come with it connotations of danger. Okay, it's your brain trying to help you avoid that. It's a survival mechanism trying to help you avoid that pain through, getting out of that situation, getting away from it, fleeing it, fighting it, or trying to overcome it. And that's not a level of outcome independence. It's not gonna help you. You need outcome independence, meaning that it's going to work out, even if the chick that you've allowed yourself to have an emotional bond, you've allowed your neurochemicals, okay, to fire off and feed with her, and you allowed yourself to have a high level euphoric experience with her. Oh, she turns out to be an idiot, and she screws it up, and you have to break up with her. So what? Because when you understand and you know how to handle women, then that's just another chapter. You'll go through some pain for a few weeks and then you'll be fine. Because that's the other part, not just handling women, but handling yourself too. When you know how to handle yourself and handle pain and trauma and how to get over it, like, you know what I mean? These are skill sets. These are skill sets that you need to train. That's why I have Apex Mindset, guys. I have this channel not just to teach you how to bang girls, but to teach you the mental fitness skills and training that you need to do so that you can bounce back from, things that happen. Then there is no danger. There's no danger for you to have one-itis for a girl, because you'll never have one-itis if you have a handle on your mental state and your emotional state, and you can allow yourself to freely have great experiences with women, and then if they screw up or if it becomes over, you can handle moving on. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are these coping mechanisms that need to be trained and taught, because we certainly didn't, certainly Western society's not passing this information out anymore, right? But anyway, I'm off the soapbox. It's already too long of a video, but that's that missing piece for a lot of you guys. So you need to do mental fitness work. We need to do stuff to work on this piece and to work on your emotional self-control and to get rid of bad shit, to get rid of trauma damage, so you can have the amazing life that you want to have. You wouldn't be watching and doing all this crap if you didn't want that, right? So that's it. Got any questions, comments, throw it down. You need any help with mental fitness training, getting over some of these things, you got things holding you back, hit me up. That's why I do consultations and, mindset therapy and all that. Thanks again.